I swear we're now living in George Orwell's 1984 with Newspeak, text being edited out, all that kind of stuff, particularly now that staff of the library of the Northcote High School, that's in a very left-wing part of Melbourne, it's Greens voting area, has supposedly decolonised the school's book collection. They've gone through to remove books referring to Aborigines as Aborigines. Apparently that's now a bad word, and claiming they were nomads. Any books claiming they were nomads or hunter-gatherers, that's also apparently out, even though it's actually the truth. That's most astonishing. And replacing them is a book co-written by fake Aborigine Bruce Pascoe, which falsely claims Aborigines were actually farmers, a total falsehood. But apparently that's more flattering to white sensibilities because they think, you know, that's they're the real racists, the ones that think they want to hear this, because they apparently think that being a nomad or a hunter-gatherer is pretty poor. Joining me is the panel, Sky News presenter James McPherson of The Late Debate at 10 p.m, and Sky News celebrity Daisy Cousens, who has her own YouTube channel. Daisy, how on earth could this happen?
Well, Andrew, this doesn't surprise me at all that it happened, because it's in Victoria. Like, this is the Socialist Republic of Victoria, as I like to call it. You know, it's the wokest, most left-wing, most insane state in Australia. For Victoria,
Guilty.
This is just another day ending in Y, Andrew. Oh yes, but we love you, Andrew. Don't worry about that. But look, this is quite an interesting situation, because, like, I get, say, libraries kind of, you know, updating their catalogues, looking for sort of books that have been sitting there gathering dust, etc. But when it comes to this kind of updating, it can be pushed through in a really ideological way, and that really is a problem. I mean, it's all very well to say, oh, let's get rid of outdated books and update them with new ones, but what books are you adding, and why are you adding them, and whose perspective are you relying on, particularly with an issue that is this fraught? And I understand that the school is relying very heavily on the advice of one person, who is Dr. Al Fricker, who of Deakin University, who's an Indigenous man. All respect to him, I'm sure he's exceptionally clever and learned, but who else's opinion are they relying on? The last thing we want is these catalogues of books being updated to supposedly make everything fresh, but really just pushing a kind of ideological anti-Australian agenda in doing so. And I'm sorry, Andrew, if we're including books by Bruce Pascoe in the update of this school library, well, just in my opinion, I'm not sure I have very much faith in it.
I know, James, for me, it's absolutely extraordinary. It's a kind of, to me, it looks like a story of facts out and fakes in. I mean, how can Bruce Pascoe, a white man pretending to be an Aboriginal, peddling a fake history based on totally distorted, misrepresented, sometimes invented sources, it's been widely exposed now by the left and the right, and yet is still, at this school, treated as a guru? How does this happen?
Well, Andrew, the example you gave, that is that the word Aborigine is now banned, and Aborigine simply means people here from the earliest times, but that's been replaced by First Nations, which implies that there were hundreds of nations here rather than hunter-gatherer tribes. That's evidence that this is not about historical truth. It's about upholding a approved narrative, and clearly anything that conforms with the approved narrative, even Bruce Pascoe's book, that's allowed to stay. But anything that cuts against the popular narrative, that's got to go. So like Daisy said, this is not about upholding historical truth in library books. It's about upholding a particular narrative, and everything must conform.
I heard the word Aborigine used by Lydia Thorpe herself this very morning on the ABC. I've got many examples of prominent Aboriginal activists using the word Aborigine. I think it's more whites that flinch at it, because it's a bit hard to masquerade as an Aborigine when you're stone white and someone saying you're Aborigine. I mean, you're an Aborigine. That, I think, is too confronting for them. They want it to look Aboriginal-ish, you know.